fund
Yes.
money from our property taxes.
Alderman Linder,
Yes.
Alderman Proctor,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Dale,
Yes.
motion passed.
Okay. Gene, thanks for zooming in.
All right.
Okay,
Yeah, bye-bye.
thanks. Okay, next on the agenda is, I got an email from J.J. Hollers because he has moved out of the city, and so he's no longer going to be able to serve on the Planning Commission. With that being said, I want to thank him for his service on the Planning Commission and giving of his time I really don't know how many years he's been on it, but he's served for quite some time. And to replace him, I would like to suggest to appoint Telly Mullinex to be his replacement.
I make a motion, we move Telly into the position.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion by Alderman Elder to accept Telly to the Planning Commission and a second by Alderman Linder. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Okay. Okay, on to item number 3. And so I just wanted to bring up some discussion and start working on a purchasing policy. And the reason for this is, well, we are supposed to have a purchasing policy. So, right now, the government, we have to get competitive bids for purchases up to a certain amount. And up until last year, there was a default of where that threshold was for purchasing. So we really need to put something, we need to establish our own bid threshold here at the City of Livingston. So we are allowed, as of last year, to set a bid threshold of $25,000, which means that anything under $25,000, we would not have to advertise it in the newspaper, wait for those bids to come back, and then, be able to award the bid with a bid opening. So what I would like to do is we would still get estimates and bids, but it would not have to be advertised in the newspaper to get those bids and delay our process. So anyway, so we do need to consider adopting our own purchasing policy. We don't have a bid threshold in our charter right now or our municipal code, and we actually don't have a purchasing policy either. But because of the change in the law, we need to work on our own, okay? So I'm suggesting adopting the bid threshold of $25,000 that we don't have to advertise for, but we would still get, the estimates for that. It just wouldn't have to be a delay in getting those bids back. So I would like to entertain a motion to consider adopting a purchasing policy and a resolution adopting the bid threshold of $25,000.
So what you're saying is you want $25,000, but you don't have to run it in the paper, but you'll still get bids. Is that correct?
That is.
I still don't understand.
So, when you purchase something,
I think she wants you to get up to the microphone.
the municipal purchasing law requires competitive bids, sealed bids, for all non-emergency, non-proprietary purposes, or purchases. The purchasing law used to contain a bid threshold that would allow us to make routine, everyday purchases without going through the bid process. The legislature has always recognized that since, I think, '83 when this law was passed. Last year, there was a change in the law that took out that minimum bid threshold. So now all cities have to establish their own threshold. Otherwise, just about every purchase would have to be competitively bid. So the General Assembly removed that bid threshold. We now need to establish our own, and the General Assembly allows every city in Tennessee to establish a minimum bid threshold up to $25,000. It doesn't have to be $25,000. It could be $10,000 or $5,000. I think most cities that have considered this recently have adopted a $25,000, but I know for a fact in Carthage it's still $10,000, and they considered it this year. So,
Explain what you were talking about, the 40% again.
okay. Say we adopt a minimum bid threshold. Anything over that threshold has to be competitively bid with sealed bids, advertised in the paper, solicited bids, and selected based on the lowest and or best bid. Anything under that threshold does not require competitive bids, but if the cost is 40% or more of what that threshold is, the law says you've got to try to go out and get 3 estimates if you can. But it doesn't require a formal bid.
So 40% of 25,000, is that 10,000? So anything below $15,000, you just buy.
Yes, is what the law allows. Again, the minimum threshold doesn't have to be 25,000, but the General Assembly found that number to be appropriate for every city in the state. So,
Who signs the purchase orders?
Laura, you might have to help me with that, but as I understand it, can department heads make routine purchases, or does everything have to come through your office, or how does that work?
Well, pretty much everything right now, just because I'm trying to get a handle on everything that we do. I mean, they're calling me before they purchase anything at this point and getting authorization, so.
And that's the point of adopting a purchasing policy as well, so that we have a structured procedure for how things are supposed to go. And we would develop a procedure that works best for the city, and you all would be able to consider it and make comments on it before adopting it. Right now, the problem is we don't have a written down policy.
I don't know. From what I'm hearing, this is not a good thing. Somebody can spend $10,000 and nobody will know except the person that wrote the purchase order.
No, it would, I mean, so if they want to purchase something, I mean, obviously, if it's budgeted, those are items that have already been approved, and we're still going to be doing our due diligence even on those items to make sure that we're, getting 3 bids when possible, when that service has those companies available. But they're not purchasing anything without running it through me, and they go to Phyllis to get the PO, so they're not just going out and purchasing on their own. I mean, unless it's, that we've got certain chemicals and things that we have some, we've had contracts for the last few years. I mean, the wastewater plant and the water plant always has those chemicals that are going to be, that have to be there. But no, they cannot go out and just purchase without authorization.
Right, department heads don't have like a debit card that they can go around and
Correct.
spend out of the general fund.
Correct. Yeah.
Generally, as I understand it, they can make a purchase order to a vendor or supplier. Then that purchase order gets processed through Phyllis's office, and then there's got to be 2 signatures on any check that gets written. So there are safeguards in place for that, and we're not suggesting that we give every department head or every employee a city debit card that they can go spend money on.
Okay, I'll just use a lawnmower for instance. Say we set this at 25,000, the airport needs a lawnmower. We'll go out and search for the best price still yet, correct?
Absolutely.
But if it's under $10,000, you won't.
Well, that's the point of adopting a purchasing policy, so we can have a written policy that says city employees who are authorized to make purchases or make orders for purchases for the city to make have to consider the price and other available options.
I mean, the last thing that anybody asked for and purchased, they brought 3, and I told them I wanted to bring, on paper, when that service is available where we can get 3 bids. I mean, there's rarities, but sometimes there's not that many people in this area that might provide whatever that is. But I'm asking for 3 bids on paper, so we have a record of that, so that, it keeps us in compliance.
And it's in the policy which department heads have some control over that, and then it flows down to you, the mayor, right? In the approval?
That is correct. They may have a wish list, but they're going to go get me those bids, and we're going to go over it before it's purchased, if it's a larger purchase item like that.
If it's under the threshold, they just don't have to run it in the paper.
Right.
Am I correct?
Yes.
But it still has to go through Mayor Lori before they can.
Well, let me get a thorough understanding, okay? If the threshold's 25,000, okay, anything over 25,000 is just like it always was, right? If it's between 10 and 25, we're expected to get 3 quotes or 3 estimates, correct? If it's under $10,000 or the 40%, that's what it is. But we don't have to do anything other than buy it.
Well, we would have a city policy that you all adopt that says whoever is requesting that purchase has to consider all available options and what the best price is. So it would be our policy to pick something with the best price.
Okay, I just don't agree with it.
Can we get a written copy of a policy, like from Carthage that they've got, so we can kind of take a minute to read it and understand it a little better?
Yes, and I think that was the mayor's suggestion, that you just decide what the purchasing threshold would be tonight, and then I would go back, create a written policy for you to consider at a next meeting, and then we would have comment and discussion and a vote on that. If the council isn't ready to adopt a threshold number tonight, then we can consider that all at the next meeting.
Well, I agree with that we need a written purchasing policy. It's the amount. Every week in the paper almost is where some public official has absconded with some funds, almost every week. And it concerns me. $10,000 is a lot of money to me. So I don't know, maybe we could put something in writing so that we could review it and understand it. Would that be okay with everybody?
And I think that's what he is suggesting is doing that and sending it to us, and then we can tweak it. But I will assure you that since I have been here, that everything that has been purchased, that I have made them even go back. If they said, oh, I've talked to so-and-so and it's this, and so-and-so and it's this, and so I said, I want you to bring me a piece of paper. And everybody makes every effort to get 3 estimates on their purchases. So, and that, we can make some verbiage of whatever that looks like as well, so.
See, like you, I'm bringing it to you, I don't have a problem with that. That's the way I think it. Maybe not you, but maybe Phyllis or somebody that takes a second look at anything that's over, in my opinion, $1,000. Anything, because that's pretty much every company I was in. We had a limit of over $1,000 that one of the staff had to approve it.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah, that'd be equivalent to about 5,000 now.
And that is currently happening, just to let you know that is happening right now, so, yeah,
I'm happy with that.
yeah.
In the example policy, can you just put like an X for an arbitrary number? We can talk about it next week.
We'll put a placeholder there for you.
Okay, so do I need a motion for moving forward with adopting this, or do we just need to bring it back to council next time with that?
You might want to separate the two things out and ask for a motion on the purchasing threshold and see if we have a motion on that, because that action can be taken tonight. Regardless, I think everyone is on the same page with considering a written policy at the next meeting.
Purchasing policy, okay. Okay, well, first let's consider that. So do I have a motion for us to prepare a purchasing policy to bring to council next month?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Alderman Linder, second by Alderman Dale. All in favor? All opposed? Motion passes. Do I have a motion on suggesting a bid threshold at this time for the bid threshold that would go on our resolution for next month?
Are you seeking 25,000? Is that what we're looking for? The threshold?
Well, I am suggesting 25,000. That's very common in a lot of municipalities from what I'm seeing.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, I have a motion by Alderman Elder for the bid threshold to be at $25,000. Do I have a second?
Motion dies for lack of
Yeah,
second.
yeah. I haven't. I've never had this.
I'll make a motion for a placeholder until everybody can get more clarification on your bid. How about that?
Okay. All right. So, so we have a motion on the table to write our bid threshold resolution. We're going to put a placeholder there for right now, and we're going to think about it and discuss it a little further next month. So,
The motion is to adopt a bid threshold to be determined at a subsequent meeting.
okay. So the motion is to adopt a bid threshold and to be determined next meeting. So, you have.
I am going, okay. When this hits the newspaper and everything, these vendors and everything's not gonna understand like we don't understand. And they're gonna think that we're more or less just taking this in our own hands and counting them out, picking who we want to or whatever. And I think, I know you're wanting to do the best thing, and I trust you with everything without a doubt. But now, I don't know how well this is gonna go over with the public.
Well, I would say that the vendors that we are, that we are local people that we probably are getting our best bids from currently would be the ones that we would be seeking those from anyway. So I don't really think that there's going to be a lot change other than it being advertised in the newspaper, but that's, my opinion, so.
What was Rex's motion? I didn't understand it. Could you read it back?
Well, he made a motion to start working on our bid threshold resolution and just put a placeholder in there instead of put the amount in there at this time. And then more discussion next month.
This
So.
has been years ago, and I'm sure things has changed, but I was I'm talking about local folks, city.
It just slows down everything so much when you're talking about a number that small. And I mean, I'm in business every day and I see it, and it just bogs things down when you're talking about limits of that de minimis. It just does.
Okay, so let's, all in favor of, oh, I thought we got a second for, does anybody second for the, I'm so confused. Do we have a second for doing the bid threshold resolution and just having a placeholder in for the amount that's going to be put in there?
I'll second.
Okay, second by Alderman Linder. Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Okay, last but not least, I have put this, I added this resolution, and the city of Livingston is required by the state of Tennessee to now have a cybersecurity policy and update and review every 2 years. So this is a resolution that we actually have kind of adopted from, we've looked at a couple of other cities on what their cybersecurity policy is, and we have adopted it. I did have Andre review it, and this is something that is required by the state of Tennessee. So we do have a cybersecurity company that we came in contract with starting in 2023, and so they are our cybersecurity company that we use. So it's VC3, and it's a company that it's not a local company, but they do work with a lot of municipalities, and that was passed a couple of years ago.
By the MTAS or anything?
Yes,
Okay,
yes. TML is who, we usually see them at those meetings, and they cover a lot of municipalities.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, so we have a motion by Alderman Linder to adopt the resolution authorizing us to enact a cybersecurity policy.
I second it.
We have a second by Alderman Elder.
Can you fix the typo in section 5?
Yes, yes. Oh, yeah, it did have, oh, yeah, where yeah, so what?
I said, you're not gonna put your password on the door frame, right?
I am not. Okay. Any other discussion? Okay. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Okay. Is there any other business? And if there's no other business, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, I have a motion to adjourn by Alderman Dale. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Linder. All in favor? All opposed? Motion passes. Meeting adjourned.